All right, y'all, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing great. Today we're going to be talking about the Belle Collective. We're going to talk about the ladies down there in Jackson, Mississippi. So this is season 2, and this is episode 3, okay? Love, marriage, and no baby carriage, all right? So the episode starts out, it's a continuation of episode 2, where Marie and Letitia are arguing in the bathroom about Latrice allegedly doing something to negatively impact Marie's business. So she's yelling and screaming, and everybody's looking around like, what's going on? And from the last episode, Marie was doing way too much for me. You know, can y'all remind me of what Latrice allegedly did? Because it's just like Marie is saying something to impact her business and there was an impact. But I mean, I don't know. To me, Marie is doing too much. Why would you go to a women empowerment brunch for your friend when you knew Latrice was going to be there? I mean, why even come? Why even come if it was going to upset you that much? And I get it. Sometimes, you know, when you're in the moment, you don't know, you think that you can control it and you kind of can surprise yourself. But my thing is, you're at your friend's event. You know what I mean? When you felt those emotions, you should have stepped out, taken a moment, taken a breath, and shut up and been a lady and supported your friend. I mean, I just don't know. Like, it's like something takes over Marie when she gets upset. And I don't know if she's doing it like these are her real emotions or is she just putting on for the camera, but it's just way too much. So then you have Akeisha, to me, who's the Braxton's long lost sister. She looks just like Tamar. Like, I don't know, a smaller version with a little bit more meat on her. I don't know. She just looks like, she reminds me of Tamar. And she said she has to go because she isn't being empowered, okay? Next, we have Letitia, who's still trying to reason with Marie. You know, she should have let her go home and said, I'll talk to you later. I just feel like it went on way too long. It was actually exhausting to watch. And you got to think, we just saw a snippet. It was just exhausting. Honestly, I couldn't sit there with my friend trying to reason with them and get them to sit down at my event. I'd be like, okay, if that's how you feel, go home. I will talk to you later. Okay? It was just way too much. Marie's friend, with that short hair, after Marie finally decided to go on and leave, her friend is walking behind her like, I told you not to go in here and ruin this brunch, and you tore it down. And I'm like, see, that's the type of friend you need. Somebody's going to, first of all, try to help prepare you, okay? And then also check you in the moment. All right. She did that. And I'm glad they got that on camera to show that she's that type of friend and she's going to go ahead and check her. So then we have, after Marie and her friend leave, we have Akeisha calling on the phone, and she's going off about how her time was wasted and she's trying to make business moves and not be in spaces where ladies are shaking the table, honey. And so she was very upset, and I thought that was a bit much too. I'm just like, the dramatics. Okay. So then Letitia, she basically lets the girls know after she settles everybody back down that she does not like Akeisha's energy. She didn't like her energy from the first sit down, to be honest. She said she came in with the rah-rah. And so, honestly, I'm going to give Akeisha a little bit more time because the jury is still out for me as it relates to her. I mean, I just feel like sometimes people come into these shows and they're trying to prove themselves so they can stay on the next season. So I don't know. I'm going to give her to the end of the season to kind of see how I'm feeling about her. All right, next up. Next up, we have Gucci and her husband, JJ, and Latrice and Cliff. They go out to some property that Latrice and Cliff own to do some mudslinging, pretty much. That's what they were doing. JJ said he was in heaven. He was enjoying nature. I think JJ is funny. He has his 3 twists with some bees, and he's got that high energy. I think he's going to be a blast, and I think it's going to be nice to get to know Gucci and JJ and their whole dynamic because he looks like he's a ball. Afterwards, after they get all that mud all in their bundles and their goddess links, honey, they go in and get cleaned up, and then they discuss the brunch. And so Latrice is saying that Marie is intimidated by her. I don't know that she's intimidated. I feel like there might be some jealousy, maybe, but I don't know that she's intimidated. I'm not. It's not giving intimidation. It's giving more jealous. She says she is over Marie, and she doesn't care for her, and she's basically done with it. And I agree, because there's just too much going on. So then, Latrice and Cliff, they are still discussing the whole baby situation. And you have Latrice, she's doubling down that a baby will slow her down. And it was so funny in the confessional, Cliff hits her with the "don't be like Tambra." Woo, child. So then Tamara and Aisha meet up, and Akeisha is still going off about the dirty plate, the burnt waffle, and the lack of empowerment. And I'm like, when are we're gonna have to move on from this. I don't want her to be one of those people that gets stuck in that. And so luckily she starts, softening up a little bit, and she starts to share about her difficulty conceiving. And she talks about how she views her children as true blessings because she had 7 failed conceptions. And so I'm glad that we are able to see a more softer side to Akeisha, because I was starting to get worried about her for a moment there. All right. Next up, we see Marie. She's laying on the couch. It seems like she's really struggling because that was the day that her grandson's mother, they had the funeral, and it impacted her, and she's also having a lupus flare up. So we see her business partner Essie stop by to check on Marie. She then talks about how hard it was to walk away from her husband, and how she might have to just pay him in order for him to take care of his child. And so she was up there talking about she might have to give him a Rolex because that's what they agreed to. And Essie is like, and he should have had some things that he had to agree to as well in that marriage. So that's a whole mess, in my opinion. I mean, it's sad to see a marriage dissolve like that, and just the push and pull that they have going on. So at least we know that Marie, while she's struggling with that, she does have a good friend in Essie and her business partner. Next, we see Latrice. She goes and she visits her mother because she's still, once again, we're driving this baby thing home. It's like, all these things about why she should or should not have a baby. And her mother basically says, look, Latrice, you pretty much married your daddy. You know what they say, you either marry your father or you marry the opposite of the father. That's what they say, okay? So she basically goes on and talks about how she does not feel prepared mentally to have a baby. And she's basically scared, and she doesn't feel secure that Cliff will be there. She feels like he might abandon her in the way that her father did when she was 3 years old. And then also thinking about losing her 2 brothers. I think it's just too much for her. So, and then at the end, they kind of did a pan of her mother's house. And I was surprised that her mother lived there. Not that I'm judging, but when you look at Latrice's nice big old white and black house, and then you look at that, you kind of question things. But I'm not judging Latrice, because I know old people sometimes, once they have been somewhere for a long time, they take pride in that, and they don't want to move. It's like you can give them a new house in a new part of the town, and they're like, nope, I'm staying right here. This is where I was born. This is where I raised. This is where you grew up, man. I'm not selling it. So that was just interesting to kind of see that dynamic as well. All right, so the last thing that we have is we have Akeisha and Letitia meeting up, pretty much trying to recap what went wrong, at the brunch. And so Akeisha tells Letitia that she walked into the brunch. She had good intentions, good vibes, and expected to see the movers and the shakers, and it was not that. And so Letitia said that she came in with the wrong energy, and she said that she feels like the woman that she talked to on the phone, that wasn't the woman that showed up to the brunch. So she wasn't impressed with Akeisha. Akeisha wasn't impressed with Letitia. Basically, I think they're still trying to figure each other out. But at the end of the day, they say that they're going to move forward because they still have a common goal. They want to get Fair Street back up and running. And so I think they'll be able to press forward. All right. So that's all that I have today with episode 3 of the Belle Collective. I will see you all next week with episode 4. It looks like it's going to be a good one. So go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Peace.